Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Professor and the Samp. Yes, it's late. It's late Monday afternoon. We apologize. You know what, though, Professor? First off, how are you, brother?
I'm hanging in there. Another blessed day, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are living blessed. And the issues that we were dealing with yesterday, I apologize, Professor. Me
It's no pro.
not forgetting something when I go to work is something wrong if I don't. So I thought to myself this weekend, wow, I have everything. And Saturday, I was on my laptop doing this and that, and I didn't use my cable because I figured, okay, I don't need it. And I always of the school of thought, don't plug your computer in if you don't need to. It's not good for the battery. So I didn't
Very true.
bother to check my bag. Sunday morning comes, and I'm like, okay, let's get everything set up, ready to go. And yeah, I just broke down the fourth wall. We usually record this Sunday evening, so we can have it up for you guys Monday morning. Um, I didn't have my cables, Professor, and I apologize sincerely for that. I held up the recording. But that all being said, everything is said and done. We are here now. First and foremost, how was your Valentine's Day with Mrs. Bear?
It was lovely. Actually, my brother and sister came in town, and we all went to go visit my mother in the nursing home,
That's
and
awesome.
had a great time doing that. And we all went out to eat. Had one of the most terrible food that I know I've had going anywhere.
Oh, wow.
And not only the food was terrible, it was way overpriced.
I'm sorry.
And well, it's fine. We didn't pay for it, and I didn't have to beat up the manager, so
No, I
it
appreciate
was a
that. But
blessing.
I think in this time and age, and I don't think this is any different if you're north or south in this continent, we're all paying the price for it all. And
Yep.
a simple thing, and I like to I think I'm gonna put us both in the same group, brother, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We're in a position in life where we don't have Ferraris, but we don't ever have to worry about having our next meal.
Yes. Funny you say that because that's what I just got through talking to my brother about of how blessed we are. And he's a minister. So we were talking about that, and I was like, I would take that 100 times over the fact of not knowing where I'm going to get my next meal from. So,
Well, you just went through a bit of a winter storm, which is very uncommon for Tennessee, correct?
no,
Well, at the
we
level
get
though,
it every year.
sure, but the level that you got it at this year.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Now,
Okay, so
every
who
other,
was affected?
well, we got it, but
Right.
it wasn't bad for us.
Okay,
What they said we were going to get, we didn't get.
sure.
Now, North Carolina, they got hit bad.
Oh, okay.
Um, Kentucky
Kentucky
got
got
hit
hit
bad.
bad. Yeah, yeah. I was talking to downtown Bruno yesterday, actually. So shout out to downtown Bruno. He called me out of the blue. I'm thinking, oh, what's going on? And hey, friend. Hello, sir. How are you? I thought I'd just give you a call. Like after that show, he loved doing our show so much, sir, Professor. And he called me as a friend, and I was like, oh wow, this is
I,
absolutely like it. I'm already a humble guy for the most part. I say outlandish things, and I try to make everyone laugh, and that's just me. But my
yeah,
humility cannot be matched, and if it is matched, it equals me because I think I've reached the pinnacle of what humility is. But me saying that probably isn't making me at the full extent because stating my humility doesn't make me humble. But all that
I,
being said, the point of it all is when it comes to restaurants, because of the way everything is, it's almost best just to go to the places that you know you're going to get the best bang for your buck.
exactly.
Right? I hate to say it, but I don't think we are in a position of exploration of food the way we normally could have been 5, 6 years ago, right? If it was a bad meal, that's okay. I won't come back again. But now you look at the bill and you're like, oh crap, you know.
Yeah.
So from that
Or
perspective, that's why I'm saying sorry.
Oh, well, I mean, it happens. And I understood they were understaffed. And that's why I was trying to be as nice as possible. And I
Absolutely.
was just waiting. If the manager said something, then I would have. tore him a new one, but he
I get it.
didn't. And he comped the meal. I was like, that's fine. Couldn't ask for anything else. So it is
Oh,
what it is.
no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, you know what? We are nice guys, but sometimes we have to speak the truth. So, Professor Bear, what a week we've had in this world of professional wrestling. Everything from WrestleMania to AEW in Australia to changing titles on regular TV. Where do we start, Professor Bear? I give you the wand.
Well, I would like to start with, well, two things actually. The
Sure.
first one I'm going to bring up, I think is a very big deal, is the Iconics have signed with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is very good for their tag team division. The whether you think the Iconics are a good tag team or not, they're very entertaining. They give credibility to a women's tag team division that definitely could use it. And I was very happy about that. And they made their appearance on the House Rules show that was not televised.
Right. Okay. Again, I have no problem with the Iconics going over there. I mean, it's good for the company because of where they've come from and where they've been. Um, no problem with that at all. But here's the issue that I have, and I kind of ties it into the whole Tommaso Ciampa thing. Here's a guy that they strapped a rocket to. They sent him to the moon. This guy's just doing great stuff. He's actually elevated the company in his own way. Um, you know, could he come up with a better name other than Silvy? Because he did call the belt Goldie in NXT. So, from that perspective, I thought, okay, come on, Champa, a little something different here. But I can understand that. I understand it. I think the problem I have with any signing right now with AEW, and this is just my take and my opinion, they seem to fumble it faster than they let it gel, let it set. You got a guy like Trump. What are you saying to your fans then? How, like, okay, as a fan, I'm thinking, okay, you got a guy in here, you're giving him the opportunity. Let's see where we can go. It's looking great. Everyone's loving it. He's doing all the media, he's doing all the right stuff, and then you strip him of the title. Like, I think personally, Champa versus Fletcher would have been a much better match. We've already seen Briscoe and him 6 times going into this one. Did we need the seventh match?
So,
I get
and
it.
it's funny that we're going into this because it actually goes into two different territories that I definitely wanted to talk about.
So here we go. The door's open.
So let's talk about the Champa thing.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because to me, this shows the competition that is AEW. You can have anyone win a title at any time. It was shocking because most did not see Ciampa losing it. I didn't see it, and so it gives more meaning not only to the TNT title, but for the contenders for it. Briscoe, because let's say when Briscoe won it, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people were in shock.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I was. I
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, that's good, but what are they going to do with Briscoe? And Briscoe didn't change his approach. He stayed the same, had great defenses of the title. So when Ciampa beat him, it was like, oh, wow, that's a great shot. And then they come back with another one. Plus, it puts over Fletcher as that guy because they're about to move Fletcher into the world title mix. So this gives him credibility and it elevates the other two also, in my opinion.
Sure.
Now, go
Very
ahead.
quickly though, in my opinion, I think Fletcher already had credibility. I don't think he needed this extra step to take him to that next level. He was already there at the doorstep. That's just my take. I'm only chiming in here because I just got to say this piece for myself. I don't have a problem
Yeah,
with anything you're saying. I think you're right. The fact that we're talking about Ciampa losing this and that, yes, it makes sense. The problem I have is we've seen this so many times with other signings that actually have some value, and then they fumbled it completely. So I will reserve my final decision on all of this until I see what they do with Ciampa. If he gets lost in the shuffle, then you know I can be justified in what my view is. That's
right,
my
right.
take. That's what it's not so much that he lost the title. It's now you're going to get lost in the shuffle because that's been the pattern that we've seen over and over again.
Fair play. I have no problem with that also.
Mhm.
I think too, it gives everybody a boost. And it's not just for Fletcher. It helps build Briscoe up. It helps Ciampa. I think it makes them right at that upper mid card level that you need because you never know who gets hurt, whose contract is coming up. You always want the thing that WWE does not do enough of, have your mid card be ready. So I can look at him like, okay, I can see him being in the title picture. So now and like you said with Fletcher, most people are like, okay, he can run with it. But now you feel a little different about Briscoe because he beat Fletcher. It took a ladder match for him to win this, and he's like that. He's like I said, that upper mid card. Like if they gave him a title shot, I could see that. I can understand it.
Mark Briscoe to me, I'm not saying the characters are the same or anything, but he reminds me of an R-Truth. He
No,
can win, right? Like I'm not saying character wise. I'm not saying
no,
character.
no, no, no. And I
Like,
agree. I understand exactly
like
what you mean by it.
yeah, these guys are mechanics. Okay, they're the last of the few mechanics that we have in the industry. Mechanics are of a dying breed, right?
Yes.
I mean, if there was a Rushmore of mechanics, Stone Cold, Briscoe, The Miz, and
Right.
I'd probably put R-Truth on there because we're talking about him. He's interchangeable, right? But we're talking about guys that are consistent. Guys like The Miz, Briscoe, and R-Truth are guys that can lose, win, and it doesn't really affect them. Which
Exactly.
is why I'm saying I thought the match to have, if you wanted to take it off of him, then let him and Ciampa have a match because they had an amazing match on free TV. There's so many eyeballs on this particular program, which was free. Now,
And I
if
would
Statlander was going to drop the title, this should have been the show you should have done it on. If
and
this,
I would tell you this, the
yeah,
reason why and this is just me, of course, me guessing.
sure, we're all
Champa is
guessing,
going to go to the pay-per-view and win it back.
right?
This was a thing because they were going to Kyle Fletcher's
Sure,
homeland.
sure,
You want to make him strong. You want
yeah.
to give that to him, and then you can end off the Mark Briscoe and his feud with a best of seven. I again,
I get the booking. I get it. But wouldn't it be more appetizing? We were talking about restaurants earlier, right?
yes,
Now, if they brought you a plate of Briscoe versus Fletcher, or you could get the rematch of Fletcher versus Ciampa, which was 100 times better. No disrespect to Briscoe, no disrespect to Fletcher and what they're able to do together. Okay, we're just analyzing it, but that meal of Fletcher versus Ciampa, man, that would have gone down so much nicer.
but why would you? And I say it like this:
And if he was
Why
going to
would
lose, if he was going to lose like he was going to do on Dynamite, then I would rather have him lose in Australia.
my philosophy is he's going in as the champion, he's leaving as the champion. He has the hometown heroes, everything.
Yeah,
And why would you? Because I believe Ciampa is going to get that title back.
I'm sure he will, but I mean, in
And,
terms of chasing, I think the story would have worked so much better if Alex was chasing or if Kyle was chasing at home and to win it back at home. The optics, the energy, that would have sold more.
but it's been done so many times before.
Sure, it
Why
has.
not?
Oh, I get
What?
it.
But and why not go with a different plan?
I get it. I get it.
And yeah. So my second thing, and I
Yes.
heard this recently on um what on the, my friend's podcast. Uh, I call it a Lariat podcast.
Ah,
He was talking about too many titles. And his philosophy is there's no need for, I think it's 4 mid-card titles now in AEW. You got the international title, you got the continental title, you got the TNT title, and the national title. And he was like, you don't need all those titles. There's too many titles. My first thought that came across my mind was there was a time when we complained there wasn't enough titles. There was only the world title and a mid card title. And and the company had a overabundance of
talent.
competitors. So now that and again, I can understand that you feel like, well, if there's 5 titles, and that's not even counting the tag or the trios title. If you got those titles, then what makes any of them important besides the worlds?
None. And they don't. Okay. I'm going to agree with Steve. I totally agree with him. Look, we grew up at a time, and it really comes down to this, man. When you were saying what you were saying, the one word that kept permeating in my mind was storytelling, storytelling, storytelling. Okay. Growing up as a kid, it was the world title, the intercontinental title, and the tag titles.
That's that is for the WWF.
No, 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 no,
Now,
no, no, no. But if you look at WCW also,
what that
world
let
title,
me
they had an extra one in the television title.
no. Let me bring you to the point I was about
Okay,
to get
please,
to.
please, please, please.
And this goes back to territorial days when it was the NWA. At the NWA in 85, when
Yeah,
Crockett was on TBS,
yeah,
they had the world title,
right.
they had the US title,
Two,
they had the television title,
three.
they had the national title,
Didn't know about that one. Four.
they had the Mid Atlantic title.
Okay, we're talking all the regionals now. Okay, I got you.
Yes. Now, this is from the areas they ran.
Right.
Now, if you even, and
But
at
those
one
belts were
point,
only exclusive to their territory.
right, but this is the territory that Crockett ran, and
Right.
he had all rights to these titles.
Gotcha.
Now,
Gotcha.
they had the World Tag Team titles, they had the U.S. Tag Team titles,
Yeah.
they had the National Tag Team titles.
Right.
Now, as a kid, when I grew up, I was used to a lot of these titles.
Hmm.
Now, none of the titles didn't feel unimportant to me because there were storylines behind them.
Right.
And there was levels to get to the world title shots. If you were the US champion, you were automatically the number one contender.
Normally,
Now, huh?
normally, yeah.
Now, they didn't get their shot at the world title all the time, but they were the number one contenders.
Hmm.
Then you had the television champion. Television champion was like
The
third,
mechanic.
right? Then you go to the other titles I mentioned.
Right.
They were regional. If I couldn't have the world champion there, I had the
This guy.
Mid-Atlantic
I get
champion.
it. I get it. I get it. See, and this is
So
the difference in consuming of wrestling that for both of us.
and that is my point that I was just about to bring up. Now, there is a sweet spot to having titles, I think.
Hmm.
Now, for me, the storytelling is still there. Ricochet with the national title. You're not top level, but you are not ground either. This
No.
is a title that you can go after that let I don't want to insult anybody, but
Oh, please do.
well, I mean you can have hell Scorpio Sky
Yeah.
win the title.
Yeah.
And it feels okay. Scorpion can carry that. Now the international title, that's more of a bigger region. You can take it over wherever. That feels like that's a Jay White title. His
Yeah.
name is synonymous across the world.
Where is that guy?
He's still hurt.
Okay. Okay.
So
Fair enough.
my point is that
Yes.
the titles, I understand they can be too many. Like, and another thing he mentioned was like, oh, that doesn't talk about the ROH titles or the CML titles or the New Japan. But the point I think people miss there is they are trying to keep their titles relevant and to let you know, hey, we have titles, they have titles. We're not saying they're unimportant.
But look, every promotion has their title. Okay, I could say to you right now, Vancouver isn't a huge wrestling hotbed per se, but we have a lot of indie out here, and every promotion has its own belt. So within Vancouver alone, there's probably 5 to 10 titles floating around. Okay,
Right,
and I get that, and I'm going to bring this up because my point was this. Okay, and this is from my perspective, growing up watching
right.
wrestling. We were New York. Even though we were Canada, we didn't get Mid Atlantic. We didn't get the territory stuff. We got New York. And on Saturday nights at 11 p.m., we got NWA. And on Sunday night at 10 p.m., we used to get UWF, right? So
Right.
we didn't have the access to it. So my access was always New York. So we always grew up with 3 titles. And this is why storytelling to me is so prevalent because of how it worked at that time. Because at that time, no walls, everything was kayfabe, right? No one else
Right.
existed outside of the WWF, even though everyone else was there. So WWF lived in its own little bubble. Like if you think multiverse, WWF was literally in its own little multiverse. All the other places were in their own little things. They never talked about anyone unless they actually brought them in and whatnot
Right.
and things like that. So growing up, always grew up looking at the mid carders were the guys, those stories were all guys trying to get to the Intercontinental. Then you had the next story of all the guys going after the Intercontinental. And then you had the stories of the guys that have won the Intercontinental or surpassed it and are in the main stories. Hence why I always call it the male soap opera. Those cutscenes were for the different things, and that's the way we kind of grew up. The innovation of all these different titles across all platforms, it's a little too much. I have to agree. It takes away from the main champions. It takes away from a lot of the other stuff. And a lot of those belts are so interchangeable. And, I think the way AEW does it, and I like AEW, please don't get me wrong. I think it's a good show. I think they do some good stuff, but this is where my issues are. They've put so many belts out there that it takes away from anything meaningful. Like
So
title changes don't feel exciting.
I guess my question is
Yes.
then if I never get a title shot, if there's only the world and the whatever the mid card title is going to be. Just who, it doesn't matter what it's called. You got the world in the mid card. That's it.
Okay.
As singles wrestlers.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I never earn a shot at the world, then I'm relegated to have the the mid card title. And what if I don't get a shot at that?
Well, I mean, history has already shown us that how many guys never got a shot at the big one, how many guys never really got a taste of
Hey,
anything. Everyone needs an opportunity. But I think the one thing that I like to mention here is with so many opportunities and so many titles, and then why would anyone need to work hard? See, well, that's the one thing that I think is missing as well is guys and girls are not putting their full backing into what they're doing because they know that opportunity is going to be there. You know, like it's almost like we live in that world where everyone will have an opportunity, right? Where it's not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to work hard. You're supposed to build your character. So I think that takes away from it for me personally, because I mean, you got so many opportunities, you got so many belts. Not everyone's going to win. Like, how many people play the lottery? Not
true.
everybody wins. Fair?
But
That's just life.
no, and that's a fair. Um, I can understand that, but in the opposite of that, what made I'm not picking on them. I'm
Sure.
using them as the example
Yeah, yeah.
because this is perfect. What about women's world titles? When that was the only title to go for, how did that make it special?
It didn't, because women were still being held back. It's only in the last 10, 15 years that women have propelled themselves to the place where they are now, where these things can be justified. I mean, you got to be fair. Let's look at be fair. Come on, man. I mean, the reality of it is, up until
She
maybe
doesn't need to be going for a world title.
no,
I mean,
I
the
get that, but they
fact that
never put any prevalence on it. I mean, we can go back to Liani Kai and Wendy Richter. Okay. Before that, like, yes, there was Mae Young, there was Fabulous Moolah, but no one knew who they were until Wendy Richter came onto the scene and they put that little rub on her because of the whole rock and wrestling thing, right? I mean, that
right.
rock and wrestling thing maybe was the catalyst, was the big bang that started the true evolution of where women are today. I mean, if we want to pinpoint it, I would go back to the match of Liani Kai and Wendy Richter. I can't recall if it was at WrestleMania or not. I think it was at WrestleMania 1. I
Yeah,
can't recall. Okay. And Moolah was there. Who outside of that time knew who Moolah was in the mainstream?
true.
And she is the pimp of the women's division,
Right.
right?
But here, but
Kids
here's
and
my
gals, go
point.
go research Moolah and you'll understand what I mean.
Here's my point about it, though.
She was a bad madam, man.
You have so many different women now that are mid mid carders. I mean, just it is what it is.
They're
Like,
still finding their way. Okay. If you
right,
break
right,
through,
right.
you break through. It's like women's sport in general. The WNBA, it's not a bad product,
No,
right? But I can only name two players from that league, and only because of their popularity. One is that Caitlin Clark, and the other one is that tall girl from LSU.
right.
What's her name?
Yeah, who's
Yeah,
starting
you see what I'm
everything
saying?
to turn around.
So I look at women's wrestling like the evolution of our planet. The Big Bang happened in '85.
Yes.
And it's taken that time. Like, if that didn't happen then, would bra and panty matches happen? Would we have gotten all this stuff? Would girls have just been in the background the way they normally were?
Yeah. And I guess that's my point to this too, is now we got mid-card titles for women in WWE. Now we can have women. You don't have to come up with hey, they're feuding because she stole her brush in the back. you
And you
you
know what?
don't have
That's
to,
fine.
and you
I
don't
have
have to
no
come up
problem
with
with
these
that.
silly concepts for why they're fighting. Then, on top of that, You have women that are not ready to be women's world champions. I
No,
love
Jade Cargill.
Selena. I, I love Selena Vega,
Yeah.
but she is not ready for
But
that.
that's why they created the Intercontinental and the US title for the women so they could get that opportunity. And I
And,
appreciate it.
and that's my point.
Yeah.
If they didn't create that mid card title, would the world champion titles be worth what they're worth today?
No, it's not. But that's it again, and this is the evolution of where we're getting to. Now you look at all the major brands, they have supplementary titles for the girls so they can have more meaning behind their stories. It's that evolution, man. And piece by piece, the Intercontinental Championship didn't exist. If you really, really, really want to get down and dirty with it, WWE didn't even have anything outside the world title or the tag team title. There was no Intercontinental title, right? I mean, it only came in the late 70s. So it's just the
Right.
evolution of the business as a whole. But now it's just too many on one side. Like,
Well,
well, it doesn't help AEW because they're horrible storytellers. And these titles are so interchangeable from week to week. I didn't realize, like, I realized after, and this makes me bad, makes me sad because I like to think I know what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. I tune in and I hear that Hangman's 1/3 of the trios champion. I'm like, shit, when did he win that? Like, okay, who's with him? Who's on that team? I should know
yes.
this, but I don't.
Well, and that goes back to
Am I watching
honestly,
too much boxing to forget this?
no, it goes back to how far you follow stuff. For here's a example. TNA, they got their what is it? International Championship, I think it's called.
Yeah, international championship. They got their world champion. They got the X division.
Right. Okay. So hell, I didn't know that um they TNA got the title back from the NXT guy until just so happened I'm looking online and saw it. And that's not a slight at TNA. It's just it's so much wrestling out here.
Yeah.
I
And I'm not going to complain about that. We're not going to
No,
complain
no,
about
no,
that
I'm not
because we.
complaining. I'm just saying that I can't keep up with every
I know,
promotion.
I know. And
And
we're lucky though that we have the internet and we have YouTube that we can go back to,
exactly.
right? We would not exist in the 80s and the 90s if we weren't able to, catch up with everything, right?
Or
But
well,
listen, I think.
or like me, buy the magazines like every month.
Well, dude, I bought the magazines every month, but by the time we got the magazines on our hand, 2 months of new shit already happened that we didn't even hear about, right?
Right.
And
But
that was the
but
beauty of it. That was the beauty of
yes, that's it.
right? That was the beauty of growing up as a wrestling fans in the 80s and I'd say right up until 94, 95, right? Like I remember the very first dirt sheets to emerge were Scoops and Mikasa. I don't know if you remember them or not, right?
I remember Scoops.
Yeah, Scoops was out there, Mikasa were out there. They were the 1A, 1B in terms of all the wrestling news. That's where I went to all the time. Between 95 and 96 until everything started to blow up. Those were the guys. Those were the two guys who were giving us everything we needed to know. The other one was Vic Venom,
Yeah.
right? The dude was ahead of his time. Hate him, love him. The man was ahead of his time in terms of
But the only thing about and this is no shot at Vince.
yeah.
I wasn't a WWE magazine guy.
See,
What
I
I
was all
was
wrestling magazines.
Well, see, I was gonna say I was like the Pro Wrestling
PWI.
Illustrated,
Yeah.
which did the whole world, and so I didn't get too deep
Yeah.
into WWE's mag. I did the same with NWA, WCW magazines. I
Yeah.
didn't like it because it just focused on them. I like to know what was going on around the world.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I think this is a perfect time to switch into fourth into fifth, right?
Yep.
Look, AW, no disrespect to you. I apologize. I just these are things that I keep noticing, and I have to talk about it, and I have to bring it up. Until they change, I'm going to talk about it. So AEW, you're doing a great job. I have no disrespect to you in any way. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You definitely have a market. And based on the Wrestling Observer's awards, it looks like a lot of people agree with what you're doing. And it makes me wonder how many people voted
Well,
that weren't outside of that realm, because a lot of these awards, like, I get it and I understand it, and congratulations to every single person who won, but anything negative was a WWE award, and all the positive ones were all these obscure, or no, I'm not going to call it obscure, sorry, I'll take that back, people that aren't as well known in the world of professional wrestling.
so
So are these indie
um,
awards, or
I didn't.
bash the big boys and praise the indies is what I got when I looked at the list.
Well, from what I've heard, because I didn't see them, but I heard and saw um them talking about it. And here's the thing is, well, for two things. One, the one thing I do like about them that
Hmm.
it's not them, not the company itself making a vote. These are votes from fans.
Yeah. Well,
So
as you can
that
see here, Bear, I have it posted up here on the monitor here with us. So we can, let everyone see for themselves, right? Wrestler of the Year, Mystico, most outstanding wrestler, Kansu Takeshita. Match of the Year, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. John Cena, best box office draw. Promotion of the Year, CMML. I can keep going on. I get it, but I don't see it. I don't understand it. Like, how many
well,
people?
and I was gonna say that shows you that wrestling is not just US based.
No, it's not.
And something I'm learning this month too, just so happened because I'm doing my promotions um appreciation month. I've been talking to promotions in Africa, in
Yes, you have.
Perth, New Zealand,
Very
Finland.
quickly. So when you talk to the African guys, did you ask them if they know who Kamala was?
No, they told me.
Because he's from deepest, darkest Africa, right? Not
That's
Alabama.
why I said they told me about him. They gave me some background that I didn't know. So,
Okay, okay. Because yeah, I mean, I just want to
but
make sure they know his fellow countrymen, right?
oh yes, they do. So the thing is, I think that, and I even said it to one of the promoters. I think we in the U.S., when I say U.S., I mean Canada too, that we have this. Well, no, it's more U.S. bias. I would say that
Well,
we have. Well, I mean, truthfully, I think it is.
no, you're not
But
wrong, Bear. I have this problem on my show all the time. It's this the American ratings. The American ratings are down. The ratings on TBS are down. The ratings on USA are down. Blah blah blah. This is horrible. At one time they were drawing 1.2 million people. Now they're only getting 900,000. Well, that's just one fucking market. Part of my language,
exactly.
right? And
And you are so right. And that's the point. Wrestling is so much bigger than what we give it credit for to understand it is worldwide,
well, like,
not
dude,
US.
I have to go by the juggernaut alone because that's where most of my intel comes from, right? That's what I
Right,
am. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll be honest, man. Regardless of how it plays out, what happens, I'll always wear a WWE jersey first.
right.
That's my team, right?
And that's
That's what I
nothing
grew up.
wrong with that.
No, and there isn't, because it's like me being a Steelers fan, you being an Alabama fan. It's just who we support and who we lead with,
Exactly.
right?
But just because we support one thing doesn't mean we can't understand that people around the world have their favorites, their ones they watch.
I will say this very simply, okay? You might get 2 million people watching Raw in the US and Canada, respectively, combined. Okay.
Right.
That's the business the way it is now. We're probably about 2 million people watching. Okay. The population of Canada, Bear, is 60 million. The population of the United States is about 450 million, roughly.
Right.
Okay. In India, they get close to 60 to 70 million people watching Raw and SmackDown every week.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
So the markets are huge everywhere.
but the thing is, not everybody votes for like this
Well, look, you
their
look at the Wrestling
award
Observer.
shows.
Well, look, the Wrestling Observer has its niche market. Okay. The Wrestling Observer people who follow the newsletter, read the newsletter, follow what Dave Meltzer say and Brian Alvarez say. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're off, just as we are. Okay.
Exactly.
It's just the industry that we're in. Not everything we say is going to be agreed upon by everyone who listens to us. I
Exactly.
guarantee you and I probably get some flack from some people calling us dumbass and shit under their breath because they don't agree with what we say. I feel that, by the way, people. Every time someone calls me a name, I feel it in the back of my neck. So I'm remembering. No, I'm just joking. It's just, but that's the thing, bro. We live in a world where we're not, we need to take the goggles off and see that the world around us exists. Okay.
Exactly.
And also because everyone's able to consume things at the same time now. In the past, Australia, England all had to wait the next day before they could get the broadcast. Right now, they're
Yeah.
getting it all in real time. So it's a global issue, and I think the people who voted for all this stuff are their main people. Okay, and I get that. That's their choice. That's their opinion. But I think that people need to understand also that there's so much more out there that they need to see and stuff like that. And we I'm not judging the list because those are their particular favorites. Those are the things that their fans voted for. All right. So I don't give it much legitimacy because I didn't get a poll, right? I didn't
Well,
see
and
it.
that, but that's
And the
my
fact they're
I
releasing
guess
it in February, fuck. Come on, man.
because they still had time to go.
I know, I know.
But and here's my thing though, and you were making such a good point about it that just because their people voted doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Just like us, our concerns, but because you may have only seen maybe one match with the
Mystical.
wrestler, right?
Let's take Mystical, for example. I know all about him in WWE. I followed him a little bit here and there,
Right.
but he's fallen off my radar in the last couple of years.
Right. Now he's came up on mine because I see him on AEW.
Sure.
I've seen CMLL.
Yeah.
I've seen different. So I think in my mind is whether you agree with it or not, is it just like when 2 years ago when WWE was winning all of them,
Yeah. No,
you
it's ebbs
didn't
and
have a
flows, man. It's ebbs and flows. It goes up and down, and this is
right,
it. And like I said, the beauty about wrestling, okay, when I talk about boxing, a lot of it's factual because it's a real combat sport. I apologize, wrestling fans. I didn't mean that in any negative way. Okay.
no,
But when you're dealing with a real fight, okay, it's a very different thing to analyze because I'm analyzing in facts. A lot of what we analyze here is based on what we see on a TV program, right? And it's everything's a little different for everyone. Okay. Maybe you want a little extra pepper in that match where I need a little bit extra salt in that match, right? That's what makes wrestling great is that we can sit here and debate things that we've seen on a television program and kind of break it down to make it understandable for us what we like and what we kind of expect. And that's where our opinions are drawn from. I'm never going to sit here and be disrespectful to any promotion, to any outlet, or anything. I mean, those are their votes. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of it, right? But I get it and I appreciate it. But I think what people in North America need to understand, wrestling fans, people, there's a whole world around us. We need to take the blinders off and see how it works. Everyone was upset with Jinder Mahal winning the title. Everyone was upset when they were pushing the Indian wrestlers. I'm not picking on that one particularly because I'm Indian, but I had some access to the background story because I'm Indian,
right.
right? You're trying to get into a market of 100 million people who love your product. right? If you want to throw WrestleMania somewhere, do it in India. I mean, that thing would sell out. You could go to Kolkata and go to Eden Garden and sell that place out with 100 million people in there.
And I tell you this, and I love what you're saying. This is the same discussion that we as black people have on if Triple H is racist because you don't see a lot of black male champions. That's a discussion. And we like, oh wow, we're black fans are a big number, but we don't see enough representation of that. And I think you fairly can say that with everyone
You can, but
because
I mean, I don't want to take that away from that population, and they have a valid point. But the reality is, I don't see it myself personally. I don't.
that and
I don't because I look at, first thing that comes to my mind, Trick. You got Trick up there. You got R-Truth. I mean, that's from that side, and then you got Royce Keys and things like that. I mean, I get what you're coming from. I appreciate it, but I don't see it, man. I don't see it.
well, and then see that's the same thing with Mexican wrestlers. The in
No,
WWE,
nobody is ever going to be happy, bro.
and that is my point. Just when Triple H made the comment of when he I think a reporter asked him about it. He said, "Well, I don't see color," and I'm like, "Okay,
I think we
bullshit,
all
you
see
do."
color. I think that's just a
Yes,
very simple thing to say. Everyone sees color. It's how you interpret color and how you treat colors is this issue here, right?
his color is
I
green.
I don't think he's racist myself personally.
No, I never accused him of being
No,
racist.
but
But what I'm
people
saying
throw that
is,
word out. So sorry, there's three words that are thrown out today that have lost their feeling and the true energy behind it. One is racism, because everybody throws that word out like it's nothing now. Okay. Bear, we're old. Okay, I get it. We're older guys. We're not old, but we're older guys.
right.
Is it okay for me to ask you this question? Do you feel that you actually dealt with real racism opposed to what they call racism now? Like, I dealt with real racism growing up as a kid.
I I deal with the so let me answer it like this.
Sure.
The racism then was different because you had more the people that didn't want us to be wherever had more control. Now it's getting a lot more
Like old school racism
right. It's
in some
this is
ways.
getting so diversified now.
Yeah.
And that you see people now who are more racist because they have a person that is putting it out there and it's made so more mainstream. It's damn near cool to be racist in certain people's eyes.
It is. Look, I'm going to put it this way. When I look at North America, I'm going to use North America as an example because this is where we live. Okay. America's how old? Roughly
No,
270 years old, maybe
something
something
like
like
that.
that. Okay. Let's just
Yeah.
say 270. Let's cap it at 270. Okay.
All right.
Fans, let us know in the chat there or whatever in the comments if we're right or wrong. Canada's roughly about 150 years old. Okay. So we're very, very young continent. We're very, very young nations. Okay. People on both sides of the border, anyone who says that you have to be white to be Canadian, you have to be white to be American. Well, here's the reality of it. America and Canada are made up of the rest of the world. We are countries built up of everyone. And there's a lot of Americans and there's a lot of Canadians in different parts of the world that haven't found their way home yet. This is what North America is. We are diversity. we are a potpourri of everyone else. You go to any other country, they're majority what they're supposed to be because they've been around for eons, decades, centuries, millennia, even. Fair?
All right.
Right? Whereas North America, you look, okay, let's look at China. 99.9% of that population is Chinese.
Yeah.
When you look at North America, you break it down, we all are a mix of everything. There's not one dominant force in this continent.
Exactly.
So I think people need to kind of look at racism from that perspective. Like, what's the point of it? We're hurting each other, and
Yeah.
racism isn't just white people; it's black people, it's brown people, it's Oriental Asian people. You name it. Everyone has a vein in there,
Yep.
right?
I agree with you.
Right? Okay, listen. I think that's as deep as we can go politically here today. I want to touch on WWE.
All right.
WrestleMania 44 or 42. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself by 2 years. 42 looks to be stumbling. They're having a lot of issues. They're upset. They're angry. They've reduced prices to the tickets to WrestleMania. Bear, I've been singing this song for the last 2 years, and now my Notre Dame-like predictions are starting to emerge. Okay, so 1 year ago, WrestleMania 42 for both nights, roughly you're looking at about $1,500 US for both nights. Okay, 1 year removed, you've come back to Vegas, so it's not like you've gone away and come back after 5 years. You're 1 year removed. You've upped the ticket prices by almost 2,000, if not more. All right, people are now getting affected by this. People are not wanting to buy the tickets. The card isn't selling in people's minds. There's a lot of rhetoric and issues backstage that Triple H is being like Vince now in terms of tearing up the show, rewriting it. This is very Vincentisms, if you want to call them, right? The things that he's doing now are the things that Vince used to do that made it work. And that's why people are going up against him now. And they're not happy with him because he's not being that friendly guy backstage anymore. He's not patting everyone on the back per se anymore. He's tearing up scripts. He's doing what he has to do. Now he's catching the area of the other people backstage. Is he wrong?
No, I don't think he's wrong.
When you look
I
at the
think
current WrestleMania card, do you like it? What we've seen so far? I mean, we're still far away from WrestleMania, man.
yeah, but I'm not honestly, I don't care about Roman and Punk. I just don't.
I get it. I appreciate that. I get it. But I think on that vein, I think what needs to happen here is Roman needs to be more apparent, more present. I'm not asking him to fight, but he needs to be more present to build this. If you're leaving it up to Punk to build up on his own, I can understand where you're coming from. He needs his dance partner in there as well a little bit because those two have chemistry on the mic.
Well, the thing is, I'm so used to them bringing back some part-timers. It's not Roman to me. It's this is what they have set for years of how they built to WrestleMania. Hey, we'll get one of the old stars to come in and they'll immediately draw money. But the problem to me too is when they raising prices for no reason.
Well,
We
the other
got
thing,
people out here. We
sorry,
got people. We got people out here that are legitimately hurting to try to keep a roof over their head.
yeah.
I'm not about to go try to go in debt to buy tickets to WrestleMania when you haven't. I'm not doing it.
No, no. And I'm close to Vegas, right?
Right.
I mean, for me, WrestleMania is very close. I mean, I'm very sad that I didn't go last year because it's literally a 2 hour flight, right? But at the end of the day, I could not justify $1,500 for myself. And that's little Miss would want to go,
Exactly.
right? I know she'd want to go, and if I didn't take her, and I wouldn't hear the end. She wouldn't say nothing, but I'd always feel it.
Right. And
right? My
then
girl's good. My girl's good. She wouldn't be that way, but I
and
would
then
feel it.
and then think about this. This year, there were a time where a wrestler could bring him or her family to the show, wouldn't have to pay anything.
No, they
They're
have to buy tickets
charging
now.
them.
Yeah. So TKO is charging the likes of Kevin Nash if he wants to sit in the crowd. Bret Hart was told he had to buy a ticket if he wanted to sit in the crowd. Like those kind of guys should not be having. Okay, fine. Maybe you have a reduced price to pay for your family. Fine, but legends being
Man,
charged
come on.
now. Okay, and the other thing that WWE is doing now is
Oh,
that if you're in a 50-mile radius, no
you can't
clubs,
come to
no
the show.
bars, no restaurants, all the people that were looking at this weekend as an economic,
Oh,
pump and a little bit of a influx of funds coming in. Because here's the deal, man, and Bear, I we have to kind of go down the political vein here again. And one more time, I apologize, but the state of your country, bro. Okay, let's be fair. Like the state of what's happening down there, and we don't know what's right. We don't know what's true. I can honestly tell you, I think a lot of it is blown out of proportion to a certain extent. Because I was in a legit red state over the holidays, legit red state. And so what do? I come in a little rigid. I can stand a little taller. You know what I mean? And I'm looking for
right.
this. I'm looking for a red hat. Come on, Santa. Not that red hat, but I'm looking for the red hats. And you know how many I saw?
I
None.
mean,
None.
and I can tell you why. Well, yeah, I really can. Because even again, this I'm gonna say this and then I'm probably going to get off of it. But
Yeah.
even the red hat people are feeling it the way that the people they were against is feeling it. Oh, it's supposed to happen to them, not me, because this is my guy.
Yeah.
Oh no, now you're learning that your guy does not care about you either.
No, and because of that, the reason they're having WrestleMania Vegas again, the number one thing is that's the quietest weekend in Vegas. Okay, it's Easter
And
weekend.
and another reason why, because if you remember, it wasn't supposed to be in Vegas. It was supposed to be in New
Minneapolis.
Orleans.
Yeah, or New Orleans or Minneapolis, one of the two. It was New Orleans, right? Yeah,
Yeah, because The Rock announced it. The
yeah.
reason being, they've paid uh, WWE got paid more money to
From
bring
Vegas.
it back
Yeah.
because of the industry is hurting. Um, the people usually that used to come in are not coming in anymore.
Well, dude,
People are
it hurts. Like, have you been to Vegas?
no,
Okay, so I've been a few times now. Okay. And the one thing that I always was happy about Vegas is the most expensive thing would have been my hotel room, right? My accommodations would be the most expensive thing, right?
right,
And everything else was pretty darn cheap. Like, I mean, if you drank at the hotel, then yeah, you're paying out of pocket, a little more than you need to. But in the
right,
good old days, and I'm only going back 6 years, in the good old days, you just go to the CVC, the Walgreens or something, and you could pick up 6 tall cans for the same price of two at the hotel.
and it makes sense.
It made
It
sense, right? It justified
right,
everything. Food was cheap. Everything was cheap. Now everything is an arm and a leg in Vegas. They're trying to recoup something that's not going to be recouped. You're just pushing people away. And the other problem is because of the political state of the world. I'm not going to just say the US. I'm putting all of it in there.
right,
People don't want to
because
leave their homes,
and can't blame them.
right? How
Again,
20% of that crowd would have been made up of international fans. They're not
probably more.
coming.
I would say more than that.
You know what they're doing in Vegas right now? Because we're not coming. And I'm talking about the Canadians. We're
Yeah.
a huge part of your economy more
Oh
than
yeah.
people realize, right? Like even you may not feel it in the Midwest, you may not feel it in Tennessee per se because you're not close to it. But
let
man,
me let
I
me
live on the border.
let me say this. Everywhere in the US is feeling it. They are trying to get people to come. The tourism has went majorly down. They are trying to do anything they can besides lowering the price to
You know,
get people to go do
put it
something.
this way: instead of lowering grocery prices and things like that across the continent, because we're feeling it here too, bro.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah.
last week I went in, milk was only $4.99. Now it's $8.99. It's an example. I mean, I'm not, just
No,
but
no, no. I
it's that
get it.
extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the other problem, and the funny thing is, instead of fixing the issue, what are they doing? Well, if you come to Vegas, Canadian dollars are apart. So if I go down to Vegas right now, I could buy $1,000 worth of chips and cash out, and I'll win just by doing that. Right or wrong? Because I'm paying you in Canadian dollars, but I'm getting American back at par. So I'm getting
Right.
$1,000 back in par. If I convert that back, I'm going to get about 13 to 1400. So I just won $300 off my 1,000. Let's do that
There
all
you
day.
go.
Just keep putting that 100,000 back in. You can drop it back.
Exactly.
Just keep getting more and more. So that's the
It,
problem with WrestleMania, man. And look, it's early. We're still in February. We still have Elimination Chamber. The only thing I'll probably say that I wasn't happy about was Sammy winning. Okay, like let that story go. Where are you guys going with the story? I get guys are hurt and stuff, and I think a lot of what we're seeing with the Roman and the Roman Punk thing, that probably wouldn't have happened if Breaker wasn't hurt. It's a
possibly.
potential there. It's possibly there because I still say that was the match to happen, right? Now they're saying it's going to be Breaker versus Seth. So, I mean, I don't know. And this is kind of cool, though, because there's so much up in the air. By this point, you and I could probably tell you what we're going to get for WrestleMania night 1 and 2.
Right.
We don't know. Everything's up in the air because now
Uh,
Becky's going to be defending against AJ at Elimination Chamber, which was supposed to be a Mania match. So
Which
there's a
is good.
lot.
Again, in some instance, it's good not to know.
I'd rather not
I
know, dude.
it's cool, it helps, but then it doesn't help when people are buying tickets. They want to make sure they are wanting to see it.
It comes back to
And
the whole restaurant discussion we had earlier.
yeah, exactly.
Right? So they're alienating a lot of people right now, TKO. They're really pissing off a lot of these people. Tony Khan, I think, has given up on WWE, in my personal opinion. Or sorry, Nick Khan has given up on this. He's more focused on TKO business. He's more focused on Zuffa boxing. I know we're a wrestling show, but I do follow the boxing stuff, as everybody knows. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen more of Nick Khan and the whole time he's been in WWE in front of the cameras for Zuffa. He's
Hey,
ringside. Like when I'm not saying he's like holding a mic or anything, dude
right.
is sitting ringside.
He knows where his money is breaded.
Well, but this is it, right? And I almost get the impression that something big is going to happen with the Federation. I call it the Fed. I still do. Old school me. Something big is going to happen. It's going to become a part of a new entity with someone else. It's going to happen this year. If not
I
early
believe so.
2027, it's something. I'm telling you who's coming back. If Vince and the Saudis are going to buy it back. Vince and the Saudis are going to buy it back, and he's going to turn the company back to the way it used to be, which might be good, might be bad. It all depends, right? So I
Yeah.
tell everybody to pull up your pants, put your big girl pants and your big boy pants on, stop being sensitive because daddy's coming home eventually here.
I I sit and I love the position that Tony Khan is in and
Tony
how much
needs to do something with it, and he's not. And that's the problem with Tony. Okay, I think that's what a lot of people say. Everyone says, "Oh, business is great for A&E," right? And okay, great, maybe it is right now. But it's kind of funny how everyone shits on WWE only getting 900,000, but then if AEW gets 900,000, then everyone's giving them the flowers. Everyone shit on
true.
the WWE with Ludwig
Well,
Kaiser and no, not Kaiser, sorry, Dragunov and Brock spot at the Rumble.
Right.
But then Orange Cassidy and that Japanese fella with the spiral hair, what's his name?
Yeah.
Starts with an M. They're praising the exact same spot.
Well, and here's the big difference of it all, though.
Sure.
AEW, what, 6 years old?
Yep.
WWE is what, 60?
60. Well, if you really want to
50?
think about it, it goes all the way to Capital Wrestling,
Right.
right?
That's my point. When you're the big dog, you number one, everybody's gonna look for you to make mistakes,
Yeah.
fall, filter, whatever. Number two is not gonna get judged like number one.
No, no, no.
And
I
number
get that. I
one
get that.
can't
No,
be judged as number two.
I know. I'm just trying to be petty. I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to be
No,
difficult.
and honestly, I think that's where a lot of the tribalism comes from.
Well, I mean, like I said, man, I grew up New York, right?
No,
I mean,
again,
before New York, if anything else, if I had to pick if there was a wrestling Hall of Fame for us, I'd go in with the Stampede jersey,
and
right?
that's my point too, is you know how what you like and why you like it.
Yeah.
Now, just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's terrible. It's just I don't like it.
Well, hey, shit, man, it's kind of like Thanksgiving. You'll never see me put Brussels sprouts on my plate, right?
Right.
Whereas you may put like 5 or 6 on yours.
Exactly.
And that's just the reality of it. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of being where we are in the world, people, is we have the right to have an opinion. If we did this podcast in Syria or something, someone might have shoot us, right? Like, right or wrong, right? Like,
No, you're right. You're
right?
right.
Like, after we release it, I'd have to look out my window to make sure who's listening. No, at least we know people are listening in Syria, then, right? I'm just saying.
Right.
But it just the world we live in, and we're entitled to these opinions, and that's what makes it beautiful. But I am concerned though, because I think if you get rid of Triple H, which I'm hearing a lot now, that it's time to move on, they're going to bring a new creative team. Who's that new creative team? And this
You
is a question I ask people all the time. Everyone has their gripes and things. So give me some solutions, people. I'm always throwing out solutions. They could be
Hey,
far-fetched, they could be here and there, but no one
get
gives a
rid of
solution.
Triple H. I'd love to have him do his own thing. And then again, as I do now, more than ever, I tell everyone, keep that same energy. The same energy when you hate Triple H and this and that, you get rid of him and you find out it's not as good as you thought it was going to be. Keep that same energy. The same people who were talking about Vince McMahon and they are crying, yo, Vince got to come back. No, keep that same damn energy when you wanted him gone.
Man, but we live in a world where are wrestling fans the easiest people to dupe in the world? Are wrestling fans the most fair
I think
weather
wrestling, if
fans?
I said anything about wrestling fans, I said we are the most emotional in the world, bar none. I don't think there's any other sport. And football, we can be emotional.
Yeah,
Baseball, basketball, boxing, anything you name, people can be emotional about. But
absolutely.
we, as wrestling fans, we are the number one petty. Don't forget people in the
Ah,
world.
I'm telling you. Okay, so when I look at wrestling fans, I equate them to UK boxing fans or UK fans in general. Okay, if they love you, I'll use Anthony Joshua and Jude Bellingham. Anthony Joshua, former heavyweight champion of the world, 2012 gold medal winner at the Olympics. Okay. The apple, the eye of the entire country. He couldn't walk down the street where everybody would not, invite him into their home and this and that. Okay. Jude Bellingham, one, England international, plays for Inter Milan, former Liverpool player. Okay. eye of the apple, this and that. The minute you say something that they don't like, they will turn on you. Like that old school mentality of the gallows,
Yeah.
that UK mentality will emerge in an instant. Okay. And wrestling fans are like that. I mean, shit. What's the best example of how fickle wrestling fans are in your opinion? I already have my, what would yours be? I'm putting you on the spot.
The fickle fans of
The
CM
prime
Punk.
example of how fickle and how easily swerved wrestling fans are generally.
Yeah,
What would
because
you say that moment was, in your opinion? I know it's on the spot.
mine is CM Punk when he came back to a when he came to AEW. Oh my goodness. They were already mad at WWE, but then they went to a whole different level. W this, WWE that, blah, blah, blah. As soon as Punk got fired and showed back up in WWE, oh, he's come home. It's the greatest. Oh, God. WWE is just so wonderful. Man. Again,
Okay.
you have your favorites,
Yeah. No, I get
and,
that.
but
Now,
that to me,
AEW crowd is very different from a WWF crowd, though. Let's keep that in mind. Let's be fair about that. Right. So here's my example.
all right.
Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13. Two men enter that ring. One's a heel, one's a face. Not a
And
single
they
word is
turn
spoken. Not a single word is spoken. The whole thing is told by moves and expressions. And at the end of that match, the one that was hated is now beloved, and the one that was beloved is now hated. Right. And that's what
very,
I say wrestling fans are. We can turn better on a dime than any F1 car can. Okay.
oh yeah,
F1 technology has not reached the point the way wrestling fans can turn. Okay. It's just insane how quickly the needle moves with wrestling fans, which is why I hope I don't live long enough where society decides to fade of you. Eventually it's going to come out where everyone's going to have an app and they can decide yes or no on someone's fate with a click of a button. I have a feeling it's going to happen. We're turning into that kind of, that evolution of humanity, right? And so that's kind of what I see as wrestling fans. So that's why I always take everything I read and hear with a grain of salt, Professor, because it's like, where's it coming from?
yep.
Like in boxing, you don't get it. You don't get it like you do in other sports. Okay. In football, if your team doesn't win the Super Bowl, then yeah, you're going to smash your TV. But I think a lot of that's done now just for viral moments because TVs are so cheap,
You're right.
right?
And
Like you smash a
and
60-inch screen, that's okay. $200, I got a new one.
right. And I think a lot of times we're quick emotional. We react, then we think.
So what
And
does that say about
again,
wrestling fans in a whole? Is that how they live their lives generally, or is it just because of the program? Like, how far does this logic extend? Has anyone ever talked
mm,
about that?
no, we haven't. I, that's actually a good thing to think about because
Are there levels of being a wrestling fan? Because I think we're at a level where we
yes,
understand that what it is what it is. It's just a TV show, right? It's like Edith Bunker. Okay, people are amazed when they actually hear her talk outside of character because she doesn't
right,
sound like Archie. She's a very, very well spoken lady, or was.
right. And that's it. We can separate there. You're 100% right. There's different levels to it. We are at a level that we see and hear things way different than the casual wrestling fan.
Yeah,
Even well, hell, even more your deep fans because we have that blessing or curse, depends on how you look at it, where we know the business.
it
We
depends on the
know
day.
we know different things. We know certain aspects of what they're doing, why they're doing it, so we
Right.
can see it, and it hits different for us, where somebody else can see it, don't know what's going on, and never catch it.
So does that make us a minority in terms of wrestling fans then? Because there's not many of us out there that think like us. There really isn't. And I'm not shitting on the other wrestling fans, but
No, no.
honestly, the reality of it is all of these guys live in this bubble. And you know what I really think it comes down to is just they haven't really faced any adversity in their own personal lives to really appreciate what life is yet.
I, I think
To a certain extent.
that,
To a certain extent. Not all people, but I'm just saying
right. And what I was going to say is, I think it just depends on how you take things.
yeah.
Because for, yeah, for us, I'd say we know what wrestling is. It's an entertainment for us. So I'm not about to go start throwing my TV and breaking stuff just because Sami Zayn couldn't win again.
Well,
I'm not.
but you know, if a wrestling fan does that, then I have some serious issues, right? I can understand in the Super Bowl, I can understand, at the NBA final, I can understand in baseball, especially baseball. Like when I look at all the sports now, I truly have become more of a baseball fan in my years as I've gotten older than I have of hockey and football and basketball combined. Like I love baseball, man. Like to the point where I can appreciate it. Why do I love baseball? Because if your team is shit in the first month, your season is pretty much over, right? You
Right.
and if your team actually, and I still say, like they say, the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. Hardest in the sense that it takes the most out of you. It's grinding. It hurts. A lot of these guys are playing with torn ligaments in the playoffs, right? Getting those shots just to freeze it so they can keep going. But baseball, in my opinion, is still a harder trophy because less teams have the chance at the end to get in to the tournament, to the finals. So if you do make it to the World Series and lose, that really sucks.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because I was talking, me and my sister talk all the time, and
Sure.
she's a big football fan. So we were talking about, I was messing with her. She's a UT fan, and
Mm.
she was mad that they didn't make the playoffs. I'm like, man, I'm happy we made the playoffs. If we didn't do anything, we got one win in the playoffs.
Well, you
But
you
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 know
let her
what? I'm
know.
okay with that.
No, that's fine. I get it.
And I think it's me getting older too to realize whether you win a Super Bowl or not, I'm not getting paid for it.
Well,
I'm not reaping any of the benefits
no, and
from
that's
that.
and that's the other piece. I think as we get older, we start to realize, like, oh, wait a minute, like I've supported this team so much. I sacrificed, I changed my schedule so I could be home in time for the game, this and that. But the team's never sent me a fucking jersey
Exactly.
to say thank you.
So
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't
So
know, dude. I just feel like I think just with age and stuff, I'm just finding the things that I like. And I like baseball because it makes you think. I'm trying to be humble, but I'm an intellectual, right? And I like to have that challenge of sitting there looking at baseball because it's like a chess match, right? And just like I don't know, dude. What can I say?
and and it's funny you say that because that's how I feel with indie wrestling.
Sure.
Because it's not, I love to see the storytelling, how they capture the fans, how they can get the fans involved. It's such an amazing thing that a lot of times I am not into the wrestling. I'm into what they're doing to draw the fans in.
And that's
And
what
it's
they do
so,
good. And this is the thing, we talk about, oh, this is the best time for AEW. This is the best time for them to do it because of what's happening over on the other side. I appreciate that. But you know what? I think this should be benefiting independent promotions around the world more, especially in North America, because even house shows are a rare sight these days, right? We don't get the house shows that we used to get. So when
yeah,
they do come to town, but then they're going to charge you $800 to $900 for a show. This is where the indies really need to step up and take an opportunity because I believe, and I think you can tell me this in your region alone, you're getting more fans than you probably have in the last little while because it's affordable.
yeah.
And
You
people
see
are,
people.
yeah, and
You,
people are joining into that because I mean,
oh yeah,
at the end of the day, wrestling is for the grandparents and the kids. It always has been,
yep,
right? And and
exactly.
and you know, it just that's from that perspective alone, that's awesome. So the indie scene, take it in, man, because you don't know how long this is going to be for, right? Until they figure it out up north, and I think it'll be figured out once societies take it over,
Yeah.
right? And Vince will be a controlling member of that. It's coming. It's coming. I have a, in my hearts of hearts, I believe it's going to happen at some point.
So I want to talk about something real quick before we
Yes,
go.
sir. Yeah, yeah. We got to jump off.
Found out why Bianca Belair has been out for as long as she has.
Oh, breaking news. Why?
It wasn't the finger that she broke. She broke her knuckle in three different places.
Okay.
And a matter of fact, right now she's having surgery.
Uh, okay.
So
So
that,
knuckle.
yeah, I heard that and I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense
No,
because of
100%.
the knuckles. Oh, I've never had it. Thank God I hadn't. But a knuckle is in a weird place.
I get it,
And
man. I get it. I broke my pinky finger, and it wasn't a simple thing as just putting a cast in. I had to go and put pins in my finger to hold it in
yeah,
place. I get it. I get it. All right, Professor. Thank you for that, man, because that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we got Monday Night Raw tonight. I don't have the card in front of me, but we probably have some elimination qualifiers happening here.
yes,
So we have some of that happening here as well.
we
Um,
will have Finn talk crap about Punk and try to keep that plate spinning.
Well, I think we're going to probably get that one more time in Chicago to have him defend the title and whatnot. So we got all that happening here in the world of WWE, TNA on Thursday. Then you got WWE again on Friday. Then you got NXT on Tuesday. Dude, there's not a single day now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's a show on every day.
Yep.
So, guys and gals, no matter what your flavor is, if you like the super indies, you got AEW. You want to talk about
Hey,
the big boys? We got WWE and you got everything in between. So there is no shortage of content for what you want and how you want it.
and if you don't want to watch the as I do it, big companies, you have all these smaller promotions
Absolutely.
all over the world that give you weekly shows. The only
Absolutely.
thing you need to do is research because wrestling is out there. They're
It's out there everywhere. And you know what the beauty about the
everywhere.
indie scene right now, man, in my opinion, is you're getting it's like college level basketball and college level football. All right. Well, more basketball. I'll call it basketball because I think the NBA is garbage, completely garbage. I hate the NBA. I truly do. If I had to get rid of one sport, I'd get rid of the NBA, honestly. But I love my Michigan State basketball team, right? March Madness is coming. I'm excited because those guys play like my favorites used to play in the 80s and the 90s,
Oh man.
right?
I know people who are not basketball fans that love Mark
Well,
Madness.
I love college ball, man. Like it's not like I don't like basketball. I mean, I understand it. I get it. But I mean, I grew up at a time with Jordan, Bird, Johnson. Granted, Bird and Johnson were on the way out, but I got them in their last 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, you just look at
Barkley.
how the game was played. Hakeem the Dream. I can keep going on here, right? Tell me when to stop. But the reality is, those guys played hard, right? You could actually block somebody. You could actually put your hand in someone's face. And that's what made the game good. Whereas today, God forbid, you can't get 10 feet in front of the guy you're guarding.
And Lord forbid you guarding LeBron, he gonna flop so many damn times.
Oh man, and this is the problem. All right, I'll say this, and we're gonna end it here. Okay, why is Jordan better than LeBron? In my opinion, it's very simple. Jordan had 0.2345 seconds. Point. 2, 3, 4, or 5 seconds to get a shot off. Where LeBron, because you can't touch him, you can't go near him, he's got about 3 or 4 seconds before he can take a shot.
Yeah.
That's not greatness. That's just a dude in a maid's outfit. All right. And we've seen him in that outfit. So come on, man. Right. I never saw Jordan wearing a maid's outfit. Maybe Rodman, but not Jordan.
Right.
And congratulations to Michael Jordan. He just became a champion again in NASCAR. His team won the Indy 500. Or the NASCAR, whatever it is, the big cup that happened this weekend.
Okay.
Like the big one that starts at Daytona.
Right.
Right.
Not a fan, won't be one, but hey, that's
Being a
for another
motorsport,
story.
like Samp is multifaceted. Okay, Samp is a wrestling fan, a boxing fan, and a racing fan.
Oh, okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I am a car guy through and through. Right, I'm old school in the sense that we used to take engines apart for fun and rebuild them. I used to buy automatic junkers just so I could change out the transmission to a standard transmission. Right? So we come from that generation of F1 and Indy cars and stuff like that. NASCAR,
Right.
I appreciate it because I'm a car guy. I don't necessarily follow NASCAR, but I appreciate the science that goes into the car.
Right.
So I'm telling you, man, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere, baby. I'm everywhere. All right, Professor, I tell you what, you have been going like a madman. So everybody, you need to check out Professor Bear. He's been doing this crazy run. Last month, it was Podcaster Appreciation Month. And I'm telling you, man, you didn't need to do any more after you had me and Mike on, right? After that, everything else was okay. But no, God bless them all. God bless them all. They're all doing great stuff out there. This month, though, Professor, you're going on this mission of talking to all the different promotions around the world. How's that been going so far, and what's opened your eyes so far?
What is going great? What's opened my eyes that I am an entitled U.S. American that thinks everything runs through the U.S. It has been very humbling, and it opened my eyes that wrestling is truly worldwide.
Absolutely.
And I've loved talking to different and learning that different cultures have the wrestling in a different point that I can translate back to the US.
Absolutely. And here's something that I don't know if you've asked them. I'll be honest. I've caught some of them. I haven't seen everything. I just, you know how it is,
Right.
brother. Right.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're right. I'm trying really hard to keep up with everything you're doing here. Here's a question that I would love to have you ask them and things like that. When it comes to the rings and the equipment that they need in order to put on a show, how does that work for them? Because rings are expensive. So what are they using, in terms of that? Like, it's not the ring itself, it's the padding that's the most expensive piece of that ring, right? Like,
Funny enough, I have asked a few,
okay.
and they have to make it work. Like in South Africa, they don't have a lot of ring makers, so they
Right.
have to get it from overseas. And when something tears, they have to fix it.
Yeah.
It may take a while before that part comes in, so they have to be very creative, very knowledgeable on what's broke, how they can put a band-aid on it until they can get the
Yeah.
part in,
Okay. I've always been
and
interested
they
in that
rent.
because in North America, for example, not every place has a ring. But like, for example, WWE doesn't necessarily carry its ring around
Right,
when it would usually have hubs where a ring would be that they would have access to and they would be able to use, right? And it's usually the frame, the mats and everything, they'll bring their mats, right?
right.
Because what I've understood, because we have Jerry out here in Vancouver, he's called the Ring King. So for that Mark Coleman film, the one The Rock was in,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was filmed in Vancouver,
Right.
and he supplied
Shatter
the ring for.
Machine.
Yes. There you go. Um, he provided the ring for that, right? Usyk was out there, boxers were out there, everyone was out there for that. But he's the ring king, and what I've understood from him, what I learned from him was it's not the post, it's not the frames, it's that mat that costs the most money. The mat they
Mm,
have here in the ring for Vancouver, for example, for local promotion, it's upwards of $5,000 to $10,000, and it's okay, it's not great. You can only imagine how much WWE is paying for their mats
true.
at that level, right? So that's what I'm always wondering, like, okay, what are these guys working on? Because I remember that, the Bushwhackers were telling me that their ring was only this big off the ground.
Yeah.
So, but that was back in the 80s and 70s. So I don't know what it's like now. So how accessible are rings to these companies? Do they have to buy their own rings? Do they have one that they all share? Like, because I'm just curious about that, because that's, things we take for granted, like you say,
Exactly.
being North American,
Yes.
right? And the reason I want to know about that is because that shows me the passion, how far they're willing to go to put on a show.
I know the one of the South Africans, they were telling me that they, again, not a lot of places. So, and when they started, they couldn't afford to buy one, so they rented one,
Yeah,
and it cost them more money to rent than to buy.
exactly.
But then keeping up with it, if something breaks, they have to be creative to either fix it enough where it can be used for a while before they can get it sent in, or it costs them an arm and a leg to get it
Amazing.
sent in. So,
So, we sit here in North America, ladies and gentlemen, complaining about this and this and this and that. And oh, why do they do this? Why do they do that? Man, I think everyone needs to tune in to some of these shows that Professor's doing and get a reality check.
that
Get a
that is the
reality
best way
check.
to put it. That
Right?
was
Get
the
a
best way to
reality
put
check.
it because
We are not the only entities. Like, this world is 7 billion people. Okay. We're a speck if you think of North America. There's so many other
yes.
people around us. Shit. Just down the road from me. I don't know what's going on. Right?
Right?
All right, Professor. I tell you what, man, we've been chopping it up. I love this. I could keep going. Dude, I wish we could just go all day long, man. Just talking, right? Like Truman
Right.
Show style. Right? Just have different people come in, but just have a conversation. But Professor, I love this. Thank you for making it work. I know you're a busy man, so that means a lot. Guys and gals, I'm Bobby Sampson.
I'm I'm Professor Burr.
He is the professor. We are Professor and The Samp, your Monday morning, but today, Monday afternoon, but that's okay. This is just the way the world works sometimes. Guys and gals, we will be back in your ears Monday morning next week. Promise I will take my cables with me. Enjoy my background, because it's not often that you actually get to see me in my actual little room. But all that being said, Professor, thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for what you do for the indie scene and bringing to light what's happening around the world. You are one of a kind, sir. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Professor and The Sam, have a great week, everybody. Please be safe, and we will see you next Monday.
They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. One's a historian, the other loves to chat. They talk about the fights, all the slams and lights. It's wrestling mayhem day and night. They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. Their takes are quite insane, the wrestling world's their game. They break